Hello, friends. Welcome to Bible Fun with the Duns. Today we read Genesis chapter 40. It's past our bedtime. We just got in from a basketball game,
but we won.
We won, but it was a nail bite. It was a fun game to be
That's
at.
right. That's right. Always.
I want a boring game. That's what I'm saying. I want to beat them by a lot, but it was great. We were excited for a win. So, chapter 40. It's a really interesting chapter because remember, we left off yesterday with Joseph getting thrown into jail, and everyone that saw Joseph could tell that the favor of the Lord was on Joseph, even the jailer, the guy in charge of the jail. And so he's like, hey, you're going to be in charge of the jail so I can not have to work so hard probably. And so Joseph...
Leadership is delegation.
Right.
Yeah.
Says a leader. And so Joseph is in jail, and all of a sudden, I don't know if Pharaoh was in a bad mood, but something happened and everybody started getting thrown in jail.
Okay, can I give my theory here?
Yes.
Okay, I think there was an assassination attempt. I think there was a conspiracy.
This is not in the Bible. This is
okay. Yeah, this is just my theory. So why would two guys be thrown into jail at the same time? You got the cupbearer and you got the baker. One cooks for the king. The other is the guy who's the closest to the king. He's got the king's ear. He's got all this. So I think probably Pharaoh heard that there was an assassination attempt. The two most likely guys got thrown in jail till they could be investigated. One of them dies, so you know something happened.
Spoiler, hope
the other one gets back in there, and so he exonerated.
And then the way they get out is there's a feast for all the servants. So I'm like, I wonder why Pharaoh threw a feast for all the servants. That's pretty interesting.
Okay, let me say something else. Okay, so you remember like after the dreams and all, when he was like, Joseph said, you know, I'm in 3 days the king is going to lift up your head and you're going to be restored, and then
another one, he's going to lift up your head in a different way.
Yeah, the other one had his head lifted off.
Right.
So I just always thought that was an interesting play on words.
I do too.
Okay.
That stuck out to me too. As
Copycat.
A kid.
Copycat.
No, I thought it before you.
Whatever.
Welcome to our home. So, what we see here, just a couple things that kind of stick out to me. The chief cupbearer and the chief baker both have dreams, and they wake up the next day after their dreams and they're like, oh my goodness, and they're upset because they don't know what that dream means, but obviously they woke up and they knew it was meaningful. And so they were talking to Joseph, and Joseph's like, well, hold on, I circled it because I want to say it the way he said it. Do not interpretations belong to God? Like, duh, you don't have to know how to interpret dreams. God gives you the interpretation. But I kind of chuckled because, like, this is Joseph's gift. He's already been known to do this kind of thing, and he's going to use this gift later. And I'm like, I just think when God gifts you with something, of course you think, can't everyone do that? Like, you can't sing a solo, like, you know, or he's like, you can't teach a Bible study real quick. And so I thought that was a little bit funny. But also, Joseph knows nonstop without forgetting that any gift that he has, any ability that he has, he knows it comes from God. And I love that humility that he shows. Our dog's getting out. That he shows over and over again.
How did he open the door?
Well, I guess it wasn't shut all the way.
All right.
And he points to God. And so even in jail, he is witnessing to others. But then my takeaway comes from the last sentence. So remember, he interprets the dreams and the guys are like, oh my goodness. And so Joseph says to the chief cupbearer, he's the one that gets to live, and the baker gets killed in 3 days. He says, hey, but when you get out, please don't forget me. Like, tell them what I could do. But sure enough, he gets out in 3 days, and he's probably relieved and excited and reunited with his family and all the people. And he forgets. And that's what the last verse says. Yet the chief cupbearer did not remember Joseph, but forgot him. And so here Joseph is. Remember, Joseph has the favor of the Lord. But guess where he is? In jail. That's what we talked about yesterday. We talked about the favor of the Lord doesn't mean life is easy. The favor of the Lord doesn't mean you don't go through hard times and trials and difficulties. And even here, under the favor of the Lord, he's forgotten. He's stuck in jail still. But my takeaway is the cupbearer may forget him, but God never forgets us. He has not forgotten Joseph, and you're going to see that God still has epic, amazing plans for him.
So this is one of those deals where, like, if you're ever thinking about, like, hey, if you just serve God, if anybody ever says, if you just serve God, everything's going to be great. God has a wonderful plan for your life. He had a wonderful plan for Joseph's life. Sold into slavery, thrown into a pit.
The wife of his boss.
Accused of a crime he didn't commit, thrown in jail, and forgotten.
You didn't want to go into details?
No, I didn't. So yeah, that's the wonderful the plan that God had for him. But listen, that's only in the front. So like the Lord does have things. Why? He can work all things together for good for those who love him and are called according to his purpose. You also see that whenever you're studying Joseph, like he goes from being the favored son of a very wealthy father to now being a servant of other servants in prison. And so Joseph has really come a long way. You'll also make some connections in the Bible. Like for me, there's a strong comparison here to like Daniel in the Bible. By the way, we're going to read him in a few days. So Daniel is also a young man. He's also imprisoned. He's in exile, but he's serving a foreign ruler. He's also dealing with dreams. And here, in both of these cases, when Joseph is dealing with the prisoners, then later Joseph is dealing with Pharaoh, and when Daniel is dealing with Nebuchadnezzar, and then later Belshazzar and all the other kings, every time they're called to talk about these dreams, they immediately deflect the glory. It's always, hey, the Lord is the one who does this. Probably my favorite part about this chapter is, Joseph notices, and by the way, prisoners, I would assume, in prison are very downcast. But for Joseph to notice these two guys being especially downcast the day after their dream, it must have been pretty bad. But I also think, poor Joseph, all the things we listed that he's been through, they've been bad. Joseph had every right, according to most of us, to where if all of this has happened to you, to just wallow in your bed and have the worst pity party of your life. And yet, Joseph walks through this moment with eyes still for other people. So in the middle of him being in a dungeon, he notices these guys in need. Mm-hmm. And what I take away from that is, when we're going through something, first of all, we have the benefit now of looking back and go, hey, this was a divine appointment. God put Joseph with the cupbearer who got with the king, who eventually called Joseph out and exalted Joseph.
He could have missed out had he not continued serving the Lord in jail.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so this is a divine appointment, but he had to go to the bottom to find the appointment. And had he been like I would be,
self-focused.
Oh yeah, miserable. Like why me?
It reminds me of Paul in jail too.
That's right. Hey, could have just wallowed, and yet he praised the Lord.
Never stopped ministering and serving.
And so Paul's in prison writing books of the Bible. Joseph's in prison, like patiently waiting on what the Lord has for him, and I'm over here like, gosh, my coffee is not brewed. I'm not. No.
Your coffee was...
I'm just thinking,
my
coffee maker broke at the house, what's wrong with me? Yeah, true, it really did break. So, wherever you are, keep your eyes open for others and your service on point for the Lord. I think that was kind of my takeaway there. All right.
And he hasn't forgotten you.
He hasn't forgotten. That's right. So I want to talk a lot about Jesus there, but we're going to save that for tomorrookay. All right. So we'll see you then.
Bye.